everyone. Welcome to the Yuri on Ice after show here on AfterBuzz TV. It is the final episode for now. We are covering episode 11, Gotta Super-Supercharge It, Grand Prix Final Short Program, and episode 12, Gotta Super-Supercharge It, Grand Prix Finals Free Skate. We're going to be breaking down the episodes and talking about what we might want to see in the future in just a moment.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I can't.
I'm gonna semi-regret choosing this as our opening song.
But you've been planning this for, we've all been planning this as the last song for a while.
I know.
Doesn't make us ready for it.
It doesn't make me more emotionally prepared for the onslaught that is this beautiful duet.
It's a beautiful aria plus a beautiful scene that accompanies it.
It's really good. When I was rewatching the show for this episode, I thought I was doing okay, and then this started, and I was like, okay, nope, I gotta leave. I just did my makeup. I can't.
Xbox pause. Xbox pause.
I can't. Hey guys, welcome to what for now is going to be our last Yuri on Ice after show here at AfterBuzz TV. We don't need to worry about spoilers anymore because it's the end. So spoil away, everybody.
I mean, all of the pins are already out.
All the pins are out. All the feelings are there. It's all happening. Again, if you are watching on YouTube, thank you so much. We love it. We always get a great little live turnout and lots of wonderful comments on the YouTube videos. But you can also check us out on iTunes, and it really helps us if you subscribe over there, leave us reviews, all that good stuff. We have 5 new ones again this week because you guys are so freaking awesome. And if you are watching live, we are following along with that live chat as well as the hashtag YuriABTV, so you can share all of your thoughts and feelings with us, because I am sure that you have many, as we do ourselves.
A lot of capitalizations and exclamation points.
I mean, there's a lot of those in every episode title of Yuri on Ice, so very, very appropriate.
That's fair.
That's the tone.
Allow me to introduce the wonderful panel of humans I have joining me today. Alexis Torres. She can't even introduce herself.
I can't. I'm gonna get through it. You guys can find me all over social media at atorres890.
Stacey Shuttleworth.
You can find me all over Twitter and Instagram at Stacey Shuttles.
Mark Donica.
I'm on Twitter at Mark B. Donica.
I'm Emma Fife, found all over the internet at my name, Emma Fife, and back by popular demand on the couch we have Xander Genre.
Gigi style. I feel like I'm on the kiss and cry. How did I do?
You've been banished. Yes. So we're going to get into the episodes in just a moment, but obviously there was quite a lot of actual figure skating news that happened this weekend. The U.S. Championships were happening in Kansas City, and Nathan Chen just absolutely swept the U.S. Figure Skating Championship competition. He's 17 years old. He's freaking unbelievable. And I want to give a big thank you to Lois Elfman, who writes for Ice Network, for tweeting lots of updates to me about what was going on at the U.S. Championships.
She's been very helpful throughout the entirety of our show.
Yes, and she tried to help explain the figure skating scoring system, and she's just awesome. So big shout out to her. And also, she pointed out to me that there was a U.S. skating team that skated to Journey, and there was a very JJ moment during their pair skate where everybody was clapping and cheering along, and it turns out that actually the guy in that pair was Canadian, so very, very appropriate. And Stacey, I think you had a little more info on a real life JJ who surfaced.
So we do have a real life JJ in Joe Johnson, who might be one of my favorite people on Twitter right now.
Right.
But he actually did the JJ style on national TV.
Nice.
And it's amazing, and now there's he was recognized all over the place. And,
it's beautiful. That's amazing.
There's fan art of him now, and he's got it.
No way,
It's so cute.
Yeah.
His profile picture now. It's adorable.
Yes. And also a shout out to Jason Brown, who is the real life Leo de Iglesias. It's very thinly masked. This is a soulful skater who doesn't do quads. Leo is clearly based on him. Also an American skater. And apparently he had an absolutely beautiful free skate at the U.S. Championships. So
while we're thanking people and while we're thanking fans, I didn't have a chance to do it a little while ago, but back when we were first talking about Christoph, I had mentioned that his first first short program was to a song called Intoxicated. And I was like, all you gotta do is replace this with Britney Spears' Toxic.
Yeah.
And it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
And shout out to Moose Mum on
they do it?
Twitter
Oh, yeah.
that edited it to...
Shut up. Are you serious?
And it
I
works.
missed it.
So I just retweeted
no,
it again
no,
before
no.
the show. So go and check it out. Mark Bidonica, if you want to watch it, check it out.
Oh my
it's
God.
terrifying, a little beautiful, and very intoxicating.
Absolutely
Oh.
amazing.
I'm so excited.
All right.
There was also a pair, a brother-sister combo, Alex and
yeah.
Maya Shibatani, and they did an amazing pair skate, and they were like on point.
Yeah.
It was so good. Look it up. They did it to Frank Sinatra mixed with
Amazing.
like Jay-Z.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yes. So Lois had a very fun observation that, assuming that Yuri on Ice takes place in the real world, Yuri and Victor are going to have some stiff competition at nationals.
Yeah.
All right. So let's dive into these episodes because so much happens. Episode 11 was like a very figure skating heavy episode.
That's all it was.
I mean, I mean, this is the thing: is there's 95% of, well, probably not 95, but 85% of this show is figure skating.
Yeah.
But like. Episode 11 hits the short program real hard,
Nonstop.
to the point that that's exactly what it is. You see basically the entirety of everyone's short programs back to back, and of course Yuri skates first because he is in 6th going into the competition. So whoever's in last skates first. And I have to tell you, I am so glad that we were talking about 11 and 12 together, because I would have just been so angry if all we did was talk about 11. And this is why. I fully admit I don't 100% understand scoring in figure skating.
Emma and I were talking about this when we first saw this.
Listen, I am not an expert on figure skating scoring, but it made me so freaking mad because the rest of Yuri's program was just as good as it's ever been.
Right.
And all that happened was he did that quadruple flip, and it's unclear whether or not he got enough rotations.
They never say.
They don't say, and the triplets are like, freaking out
They're
about
trying
it.
to calculate it as it
And their
happens.
dad is he's like, I'm working on it, guys. Just calm down. But from my perspective, like, even if he must have maybe not gotten enough rotations or something, because all he did was touch one hand down on the ice. Why was his score so much lower than it was at WrestleCon?
Well, because it counts as a mistake as opposed to...
I know.
Instead of... Because that encourages skaters to nail perfection as opposed to... Like, otherwise everyone would just try quads all the time and mess up. Well, I tried the
So
rotation.
bad.
Yeah.
No, you should have seen Emma's and my text. It was just all caps between
Why?
each other over and over.
We were so angry.
It was insane.
So that's how I felt about it. Anybody else?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to talk a bit about the title of these two.
Right.
Because
Technically 3, because episode 10 is...
Exactly.
No, it's prelude,
They're all,
Yeah, in the same way.
Super-Supercharge.
When I lived in Japan, I lived in Kyushu, and one of the local dialects, instead of saying gambaru, which means like to do your best,
do your
to
best.
go for it, you would say gambaramba, which is a very Kyushu thing. And this, in the title, it says gambaramba, and it throws back to like his roots. And then you say cho to mean like very, like really do something. So to say cho something is a little ridiculous. To say cho gambaramba, it's like, what?
I was a real big fan of Gambaramba's hit Tub Thumping. Huge fan.
Chumbawamba is amazing, and that album is underappreciated. Like, serious talk.
We've gone everywhere, and it's only been like 5 minutes.
I know.
Minutes.
But I was real mad about that, but I understand, Xander, now that you have explained it to me.
No, that's what I think. I'm not an expert
But also,
either.
seeing how well everybody else did kind of puts it in perspective
Yeah, it does.
as to how harshly it was judged.
That's very true. That's very true. And I mean, like, Peachy just like nails his.
Peachy,
and
my little prince.
And that flashback was so cute with the two of them, with Yuri and Peachy, and they're like sitting on the
hamsters
bed, and just covered in hamsters, which comes into play in the next episode, oddly enough. But yeah, it was so good. And then who skated after him? Who was in 4th going?
4, I think was that Chris?
Chris,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
it was. Yeah, because it was then Odebek and then Yuri.
and then
No, then it was Yuri, Odebek, JJ.
Oh yeah, Odebek was second
'Cause-
going in.
Yeah.
Oh JJ. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But
with
Chris.
Well, yeah,
but
but also
continue.
with Yuri's skate, or the stuff before Yuri's skate, this was where you really saw the relationship, because we're just off of the high of the rings
Right.
and everything, and you really saw them like, we're gonna charge the rings with our love and our energy, and I was just, that's where I was leaving
I know.
already.
So good.
Like, right after the main theme.
Well, and then I mean, you know, for all that this episode was very heavily focused on skating, because they wanted you to get a chance to like really see everyone's short programs.
Yeah.
There was also the element of like Victor and Yuri like not really communicating with one another.
Yeah.
You know
Because
what
it was literally the culmination of everything everyone's been working on the whole season.
It's so true. And so like throughout the rest of these skates, as Victor is watching everyone else skate, and you're seeing Victor watch the other programs through Yuri's eyes, it just like it's like real painful, but I'm like, you haven't even actually asked Victor if he wants to come back to skating, Yuri. Like, maybe you guys should have a talk.
Plus, like, I know that we'll get into it in the later episodes too, but with Victor watching it, that's the relationship. Like, if you've devoted your whole life to figure skating, you're going to be interested in watching that because you love figure skating.
Right.
But not just that. Also, Victor has relationships with these skaters as well.
Yeah.
You know, like he trained Yurio for all intents and purposes. No offense, Yakov, but also he has
All offense, Yakov.
he's heard about this upstart Yakov, JJ, and then he's also curious about this mysterious Odebek, and he has a relationship with Chris. So there's and then he has, I love Odebek. Stop it. Well, actually, it was funny. I think this was episode 12. I don't know. I couldn't see through all the tears, but when Victor was posing with Yuri at the Kiss and Cry during Chris was like, we do selfies.
No, Chris's relationship with Victor is actually like one of my favorite things about this show. Like, especially in the last episode, like we saw a lot of their friendship, and then a lot of this, especially in episode 12, was about Chris being like, without like, I never thought I would be skating without Victor, and it was hard to be motivated, and now like I'm being surpassed by someone who's not Victor.
Right. Yeah.
Like, what do I do?
Plus, you know those two totally hooked up, like casually every once in a while.
Also, we finally got to. This is the first episode where we like really see who I am convinced is Kristoff's boyfriend.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, you always come early. And it's like,
Kristoff's boyfriend. Who I agree. It's been pointed out to me by a couple people on Twitter that Kristoff's boyfriend actually looks more like Stefan Lambiel than Stefan Lambiel. Animated Stefan Lambiel looks like Stefan Lambiel. No, like literally, he looks, I think it was that they had like animated Chris's boyfriend, and they're like, oh crap, we're gonna actually have Stefan Lambiel in it. So what are we gonna do?
My brain.
Just make him look super vanilla.
Even whiter. So good. Yeah, in the scene where like Kristoff is there with like petting the cat, and then the boyfriend comes in. I'm convinced it's his boyfriend. No one can tell me otherwise.
No. Yeah.
But it was nice to like see him skate his free skate so well, because in the previous event that we saw him skate in, they talk about Kristoff being sort of like a slow starter, so we saw him make some mistakes, and this time it was like, yep.
You had it.
Yeah, it was sexy. I liked it.
The butt came back.
It was like, it's the last two episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was back in like HD.
That is also, by the way,
8K butt.
that is also realistic, by the way, because you do like develop those butt muscles from I'm doing figure skating shots.
Sure.
It's a real thing.
And
like,
other stuff.
Yeah.
How you doing, Mark? How you doing over
It's
there?
a real thing. I saw it on Tumblr. Safe serve off. What? Safe search off.
You can't even talk because of the butt.
I can't.
But
That's all I see.
Marcus, speechless in the presence of the butt. Now let's talk about our precious little Yurio, because holy
Hold on.
Whoa.
That ain't precious no more.
No.
For real. Let's talk about that.
This is the tiger that he's been claiming to be the entire time.
Yeah.
Adding the additional difficulty with his arms raised.
Oh, I was like overachiever. I love it.
Like, this was the first one of these two episodes. This was the first performance of these two episodes where I was really starting to get like, dude. It's been 10 episodes at this point with people that don't even exist, and I'm so invested in everything that they do, and he's come so far from going, I'm just doing it, but I don't get what's going on.
I know.
Yeah.
To, hey, my grandpa made these.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, hey, I sort of maybe have a boyfriend
He
now.
is-
Yeah, right? Oh, to that. Oh,
He
for
has
sure.
a friend.
Yeah.
We don't
Which
know
is a
yet.
big deal.
We don't know yet.
No, it is a big deal because that's the thing is you see even in that flashback that like Yurio is talking about like, oh, I've never had anybody that like straight up was like, hey, are you gonna be my friend?
Right,
I
right.
think he certainly considers, Yuri to be a friend.
Right, but like grudgingly, like
Yeah, and like Mila to be a friend,
Yeah.
but again, like really grudgingly. And so like Odebek is the first person who's like wanted to be
Actually,
friends with.
we skipped over something very. Speaking of creepy, we skipped
Oh
over
my
something.
god!
very
Oh my god! I know
creepy.
exactly what
Yes.
you're bring
I
up.
thought you guys just didn't want to talk. That's why I didn't say anything.
So at the,
Oh, I
when we were-
totally
When we were
forgot.
talking about them in Charge of the Rings full of luck,
rings.
Yeah.
we see Mickey looking over. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
those are some awesome rings.
Again.
Yeah.
I wish Sarah and I had a
Oh
pair of
yeah, I
those.
forgot about that.
That's what I was saying. I was like, oh, maybe it's too traumatic.
No,
So
To which I literally replied, honey, no.
Yeah.
Mickey, stop.
Oh.
Stop.
Honey.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Linda, listen.
Oh, sweet summer child. Sweet summer child, bring it back.
Yeah.
Just like that.
No, I love it because
no.
Sweet Summer Child. No, it's just like no. It's just
Yeah.
no. Like, no.
Because that's getting into Game of Thrones, and that's dangerous territory
going there. We're
for
Now,
incest.
I mean, now, granted, like, Miki and Sarah were not there when Victor was like, these are engagement rings, but...
Oh, that's true, but still.
But still.
Yeah.
Still, no.
Why even put that line in there?
Fairly clear to make it
at that point.
So that you are, so to just remind the audience of how misguided Miki is. Like, it's like a toss-up between him and Yorgi of like, who needs therapy more?
Oh man, the chat is blowing up. Twincest. Stop, please
Twincest,
stop.
yeah.
Stop. I had forgotten that.
Are they twins or just brother and sister?
They're twins.
They're twins.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
are.
yeah.
I mean, I know that they're connected, but
Not like that. Not like that.
no.
Oh, it's the worst.
No,
Yeah.
I think it's really funny because, like I said, I didn't know if we were like so traumatized when we were figuring it out because I have a friend at work who's just now getting into anime. He started with this anime first.
With this one?
And so we were watching.
Really high.
That's what he decided.
Yeah.
And so
Set
he
the bar
watched.
high.
Yeah.
He's gonna
he
be
watched-
disappointed
I
by
know.
other
And
things.
he watched this episode with me. I'm rewatching it. He's watching for the first time. He was like, wait.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Not okay.
And he's like, I'm just gonna pretend like that didn't happen. All right, ice skating.
Yeah.
Literally, I watched it like 20 minutes ago and I've already repressed it.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you guys talking about? Oh, yeah.
I clearly had already repressed it too.
That's why I
The
thought we were just.
terror.
I thought we were just going over it. Yeah, no. Thanks, Mark, for like opening up the wound. Jeez.
I do what I can. I can't talk, but I can talk about that. Getting back into Yurio, Last Haven 7 in the chat says Yurio exchanged his eyes of a soldier for the eye of the tiger.
Thank you. I'm gonna go put you in a corner now.
If there were a drinking game for this after show.
Yeah, right? No.
No, but
Wait till the next level.
but yeah, Yurio's short program is amazing.
Yeah.
Flawless.
Yeah, it's totally flawless.
And you could see that this is more of that relationship with Yuri that he has of like, oh, you added some quads to your routine. Look at this. And you're just like, let me just lift these up a bit. Yeah.
Damn.
But then I thought it was so interesting because his whole arc was finding his agape, and then he did this in the finals and was like, oops, I blacked out for the whole thing and did it perfectly. So I'm like, I don't know what you're trying to
Blacked out
say
again.
with that.
I'm not sure either. I enjoyed that we saw flashes of all of the people who'd sort of like positively
That's
influenced
true.
his life. Because you saw Victor and you saw Yuri and you saw his grandpa and you saw Odebek. I'm sorry, I have a lot of Yuri Odebek
Hammered
feels.
home.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
really
Fair.
I'm real into it.
Yeah.
I'm not
I mean, I am
ashamed.
too. I ship
I'm not
it.
ashamed.
Yeah.
I'm with you there.
I ship it
Hannah. I'm
hard.
with you.
Yuri
Yeah.
Odebek?
It's Oda Yuri.
Yuri.
Yeah.
Yuri Odebek works so much easier.
Well,
Whatever.
I don't know. You
Sorry.
can't blame the
It's too
shit,
long.
man.
I'm not the god of Tumblr. That's, you know what I mean? Like,
You're not?
Sorry, it's not quite as easy as victory. Okay.
I know.
Victory. And it even fits in the theme song.
I know. It's great.
Just running around crying.
But then we also get to see Odebek skate for the
Right.
first time.
In his weird later hose.
I know.
I thought it was amazing.
And oh my god, in that scene, I was so mad at Yurio when he like comes in behind where Victor and Yuri are sitting to like watch the skating.
Yeah.
And he puts his feet up on the back of the chair. Oh, I'm like, why is he such a jerk?
Well, he was also like, pay attention to my boyfriend. Like,
Yeah.
everyone, like, look.
Look over there. Right
Yeah.
Good he is.
Look at him.
You're not talking to each other.
Well, I think it was might have been the opposite. It was, hey, I'm a jerk all the time. Go on to back.
Like that weird moment of like,
not nice.
I hate all of you.
That's fair.
But I hope.
But Odebek is great. We get to. I can't remember if it was in.
He's so mad.
It's in this episode.
He's
Yeah,
so
that we see the flashback to like when he
Yeah.
first met Yurio
Yeah,
when
we
they were
get to see him
children.
again.
when he was having a
Yeah.
hard time with the ballet class.
Yeah.
And everybody forges their own path.
Yeah.
Whoa.
He's like, screw ballet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do whatever I want.
I had a really weird realization about Odebek.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me of Piccolo.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense.
Because everyone else was like kind of born into it, and he had to like
work for it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Also-
Listen, I also.
Why is everybody breaking my mind today, Seven?
I love Piccolo. He's one of my favorite characters in Dragon Ball Z.
Heck yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, I'm
Yeah.
on board for that. I'm on board.
Also, weirdly enough, Odebek is green. I just didn't even put that.
Didn't even notice the little.
Yeah.
Also, I would like
What do you
to
think
Hit
it
it
helps
with
him
the
with his
turban.
twats and
also
stuff,
for
guys?
a second,
Balance.
I would like to point out something. So Odebek's name is Odebek Alton, and Alton means gold.
In Korean?
In like Farsi or something. You know what I mean? He's
Oh.
supposed to be Middle Eastern. So.
He's, from,
Yeah.
he's a Kazakh. He's from
Yeah.
yeah,
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan.
So.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Ah.
Yep.
Those babies are gonna be adorable. Sorry, what?
Not possible. But anyway, moving on.
In art drawing.
But let's talk about our dear friend JJ.
I mean, you say that, but do you
my-
really mean that?
Okay.
Previously hated.
So yeah,
yeah.
the first watch through hated JJ until this episode.
Yeah.
And then like, because I think this shows all the sides of what can happen to a skater when they get to this level of competition. Because this is what happened to Yuri
Yes,
last
that's
time.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Well, and Yuri even recognizes that.
Oh, yeah.
too.
Yeah.
He brings it up, like, oh, I know exactly how he feels
Yeah.
right now. And it does make him very relatable
Yeah.
in that sense. And then the fact that he crawls his way out of this spiraling pit, like,
Yeah.
even more power
And the
to
audience
JJ.
is still like clapping.
Oh my God.
And
his
the part that
fiancé.
just his fiance killed
Yeah.
me.
Because
that could have gone one of two
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
And I definitely thought it was going the other way.
I thought she was just gonna be like, I'm done.
yeah, like a frigid
what are you
bitch.
doing?
Like,
Yeah, and like through the ring and
Yeah.
everything.
But to see her like cheering him on, it was just like, oh, they
Because-
actually love each other.
Because-
Because you weren't sure before.
No, because she was kind of like, we were talking about it, we kind of
Yeah.
thought she was a douche.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be terrible.
But to watch her be that supportive was
Yeah.
just like,
That was
oh,
amazing.
Maybe we were a little
breath of
wrong.
fresh air. I like
Right?
it.
Yeah.
I like it.
But that also hammered in the point that it was JJ putting the pressure on himself. It wasn't his parents. It wasn't the crowd. It wasn't his fiance.
And even more so after JJ does his free skate in episode 12, where his parents are watching him and they're like, no matter what, we're gonna greet him with a smile.
loved that.
And,
You know
yeah.
what it was? It was probably the dude running up and down the aisle with the giant Canadian.
Oh yeah.
It was probably like,
That dude
Yeah.
is MVP.
He was just adding it on. It's like, dude, and because he was also singing, and he was
Yeah.
kinda just like rapping along on the pole. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of pressure.
He's probably crying as he's running back and forth.
But the flash of Odebek, not anybody
Oh, yeah.
else. But the fact that it was Odebek, like he just came out and saw this dude wrap up super strong, probably wasn't even barely paying attention, but that it still got to him.
Yeah.
He still had all of that confidence, but it being there, and he didn't really mess up.
No.
He just
No.
didn't do his full
hard-
He didn't do
rotation
the
backwards.
elements.
Yeah. It's because he has the same haircut as Odebek.
that
Who wore it better? Yeah.
distracted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
But before we move on to talking about episode 12, let's talk about like the conclusion of episode 11. So, as I mentioned before, obviously a lot of this episode was about sort of like Yuri's reaction to Victor watching everybody else skate. And, you know, again, like, it boiled down to, like, Yuri has got it in his head that Victor would rather be skating. That, like, really at the end of the day, that's what he wants to be doing, not coaching Yuri.
Yeah. But that was Yuri's putting his own thoughts into Victor's head.
100%. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is 100% Yuri's perspective. And so it is really frustrating because you're like, Yuri, why don't you just act, like, why don't you just talk to each other?
Right.
And because from Victor's perspective, he's like, no, I'm Yuri's coach. Like, this is what I'm doing now.
Right.
And I made this choice to take this time off to do this, and I'm confident in that decision.
Yeah.
So, like...
But also in true Victor style, he forgot that he said it was only up until this point that I would be coaching him. And Yuri, of course, is, like, holding on to that.
That's the one thing he's clinging to. And,
Yeah.
you know, he's been planning for that from the beginning. So
Right.
he's
Right.
already talked himself into, this is it.
Right,
I'm
right.
not going to let it go further than this.
Right,
without
right.
really thinking that, oh, maybe Victor didn't mean the same thing.
Yeah. It's
That's
all...
why he got to put a ring on it.
Well, I did.
Correct. Well, and then, you know, the end of the episode, people were like freaking out.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here's another thing that I want to mention. So we've gotten a couple of instances where during the credits, not full credits roll, post-credit scene, but the credits indicate, oh, we need to keep paying attention.
Right.
So with this, it had no indication.
It did not.
So
No.
I know of a lot of people who got to the finale and went, where the hell did this come from?
Yeah.
So I wish that they had communicated that a little bit more. It's just hard to get "You Only Live Once" out of your head, so sometimes you got to roll through.
I
the credits.
always
Yeah,
watch it.
But something that we didn't mention before we get to the end of the episode is that Yuri-O broke Victor's short
yeah.
world
Yes.
record.
Amazing. Yeah.
Remarkable, and ended in first place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about this scene.
Okay. So it is like basically Victor and Yuri are in their hotel room, and Yuri basically confronts Victor, who's like in a bathrobe.
Right.
Like,
It's
Just
Victor.
came back.
Why not?
You just came back from a shower.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or like the hot tub.
He's just relaxing.
Yeah, he's just chilling out in their room with
Hanging out with Chris
Enjoying
again.
post
Beds and-
engagement.
Yeah.
right?
And
With
his
the
hair was
beds-
even wet.
Yeah, and their beds adorably pushed together.
Yeah, right?
Which was very clearly animated in this episode.
Yes, quite.
And Yuri basically confronts him and is like, yeah, you know what? After the Grand Prix final, let's end this. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Let's end what?
Yeah, I
was a very
remember
stressful
watching
week.
it through the first time though, and I appreciated that because up to that point, like there were some rocky bits, but basically their relationship has
It
steadily
had been very,
perfect.
it had been very perfect.
And so
yeah.
I'm like, yes, this is like you have this nitty gritty, like real
I know,
conversation
I know.
of insecurity and like, and you see emotion in Victor
I
that's not like,
know.
whatever, I'm a Muppet. Like,
Surprisingly accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you saw him like just be crushed.
I love the fact that you got to see him angry, like he smacked Yuri's hand.
I was like, for once wasn't all about being cuddly and like being
But
that happy.
Yeah.
And the fact that we got to 12 episodes of actually seeing this character go from being how he's the, you know, flailing arm guy to being like, I'm hurt. You
Right?
hurt my feelings.
Because Victor says in the previous episode, he's talking about like his journey as a skater, and he's like, I've poured all of my life into this for now, and I've always looked for ways to surprise the audience, and I thought that I could only get to the next level on my own. At least that's what I used to think.
Right.
But not anymore.
Right. And he sees him putting his next level into another
I know.
person.
I'll just leave it at that.
oh god, I just got that.
I couldn't handle Victor crying.
Oh, I know.
It was interesting. Like you flash back to episode 7, and we were all talking about the scene in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Where it's skaters have a heart of glass. Let's see if I can shatter it.
Yeah.
But Yuri came across so cold
Yeah.
to me.
Oh, just
But
completely calm.
because it seemed like he had to put himself in a state
Yep.
where he was like, oh no, this makes sense. He put himself in a place where, oh, this makes sense and he'll agree with me because this is how we've been talking this plainly. But that shows how what kind of emotional problems Yuri had.
It does.
But also that the roles have then reversed.
Yeah. So it's like, oh,
amazing.
and also how coldly he said, "Oh, I didn't expect to see you cry." That's
Right.
weird. Like
Yeah.
that.
It hurt the whole entire
it hurts
thing.
so bad.
Yeah.
And then they just cut away from
I
that
know,
scene.
I know.
Yeah,
To leave it up
get
to your
a
imagination.
And like,
I was like,
you lucky viewers at home got to move right on to episode 12, but at the time we were left for a
nothing.
week
Yeah.
with like our speculations of like, oh, what does that mean?
Super stressful week.
Yeah.
But even in episode 12, after you know, like Victor's crying and Yuri's like, oh, I just didn't really expect to see you cry, and Victor's like, I'm mad, okay?
Yeah.
Really? And he grabs his leg and and then it cuts away.
Throws him out the window.
He does not throw him out the window. I imagine he might have
Emotionally thrown out the window.
Right, emotionally thrown out the window, or maybe physically thrown somewhere else. It's just
hey, that
We've already went through this episode.
Yeah.
Body pillows available now.
Yes.
Etsy.com.
Let's show the official ones. Emma knows where they are.
Yeah, I saw them on Tumblr. They're coming. They're on their way. Yes. So the next. So basically, then Yuri and Victor sort of like go into hiding, like from the public eye until like the day of the actual free skate competition. The first time anybody sees them is like they go to the public skate that morning.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, nobody knows what's happening. Like, we're so worried and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's
And then all the reporters are expecting them to be like, yeah,
I
it's the second
know.
day. And they're just like,
and they're
whatever.
just silent.
I also like the fact that, to get on a lighter note for a split second, I like that we got to see the different languages
it was
from the
great.
different reporters. That was awesome.
I love the like American announcer voice.
Yeah.
The next skater is.
But also that
Coming up
French,
next on the ice.
that French voice actor just like phoned it in.
Oh yeah,
Just like,
no,
you want
that
me to
was
say-
Stefan Lomio.
That was-
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oopsie doodle.
Yeah.
Because it was very flat.
Well, not a voice actor.
No,
That's
not
true,
a voice actor.
that's true.
Although I thought that Nobunari Oda in the previous episode did a
Did really
really
well.
good job.
Yeah, because he sounded just like a Japanese reporter.
Yeah, well, I mean, so the guy who he's reporting with is an actual Japanese reporter, and then Nobunari Oda is an actual Japanese skater who was doing the commentary on it, and he killed it. He was awesome.
Really good job.
Especially like talking so emotionally about like Yuri's performance because they're from the same country. Anyway, but yeah, so then it's the day of the free skate, and
So tense.
JJ skates first because he's in last. What? And again, and we touched on this a little that like he ends up actually doing very well. Like he's slow to start, and again, like it was so nice to see his parents be like, no matter what he does, like we're gonna support him, and we got that great flashback of young JJ dressed just like
Of
Cartman.
young Eric Cartman.
I don't know.
Eric Cartman Leroy.
I don't know.
Everyone in Canada dresses like
I've heard it was kind of a nod. Did South Park reference Yuri on Ice?
Oh, really?
Maybe.
I
A little
didn't-
bit. So
they like made a kind of vague.
It was on the computer screen,
yeah,
right?
so one of the big
right.
point of last season of South Park was about like online security and trolling and stuff. And so there was a program to check the history of everybody. And Sheila Broflovsky checked Ike, who's the young Canadian boy's her son's computer, and it flashes up on Crunchyroll, and Yuri on Ice popped up. So
I
whether
did
that
see
was a writer or an animator or whatever, they crossed the streams and
funny.
referenced them right back.
Yeah.
What I found most interesting is that he was trained by Celestino as well.
So what I was gonna
Almost.
Yeah. Like something that was interesting about this is that we got JJ's kind of like backstory of like no coach wanted him because he was an annoying little shit.
Yeah.
Of like, I'm gonna do it my way. I want to be a figure skater.
Figure this out.
Yeah, exactly. And like that related to the audience as we were watching the series because we're like, this guy's an asshole. Like whatever. We don't want to deal with him. And then you saw that that's what he's dealt with his whole life, and it's built up to this pressure.
Yeah.
But I also sorry.
I was gonna say to the point that it has manifested in this like very over the top arrogant character.
Yep. Yeah, because he's gotta. It was his protection.
Yeah, but I also like the fact that his parents are the ones that are kind of like coaching him.
And that they know underneath all like he's
he's
not,
a sweet kid. And it's just
Yeah.
that we don't see it because it's Persona.
He's really not a terrible person.
He's not. It's just his character really bugged us for a
He just
while.
really irritated me for a long time.
Still bothers me.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I feel bad for him, but I also sort of feel like he got what he deserved.
A little bit, yeah.
He needs to be knocked down just a little bit.
Sure.
He did.
Well, and maybe this will kind of help be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't hold that persona,
Right.
maybe I could
Yeah.
open up a
Yeah.
little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
instead
know
of
if we
being
actually
the
got
picture
that, though.
perfect.
I don't
like
know.
moving into the future.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
not into the
no, we
future.
did not get
Well,
that
no,
here.
you saw
no,
that.
not at all.
I mean, a little bit in the kiss and cry because he was saying like normally at the kiss and cry he's like I did this myself, it's JJ, but in this one he acknowledged like I thank you
Yeah.
to everyone that's helped
Yeah,
me
yeah,
get
for
so
sure.
it's a little progress.
Yeah.
We took a tiny little step in
Yeah.
that
That's a big step for
And then
JJ.
brought up JJ
That's
Stout one
true.
more time.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
right back
Baby
to the
steps.
JJ
Yeah.
style.
It's okay. We're working on it.
Baby steps, guys. Baby steps.
From Libby Rose 030 on Twitter, before episode 11, I hate JJ, he's so cocky. After episode 11, oh my god, JJ, my baby!
I know.
That's okay! That was Seth West using the hashtag YuriABTV.
But so it's so funny because in this episode, you know, they talk about sort of like, again, you get more of like the skaters' like motivations and some of the like sadness and their backstories, and then you get Pichit.
Oh, me too.
Actual ray of sunshine.
Like,
Guys,
can do no wrong.
Pichit.
Oh, no.
Never.
Everyone's like, yeah, I want to win the gold medal. I want to like prove that I am just as awesome as I claim to be. And Pichit's like, I want to be a hamster.
Yeah, he's like, I just want to bring figure skating to Thailand. Like, okay.
And I'm gonna give all my friends parts.
Yeah.
You can have a part, you can have a part.
The line.
Light up. It was great.
I was dying.
Oh, Disney on Ice style shit.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
would
need
give
him
all-
to have this.
No, I would give all
And
the
it was
money
called,
to see this show.
his imaginary
Pichit
show
on
was
Ice.
called Pichit on Ice.
Yeah.
So cute.
Didn't the announcer say that like a lot of Thailand supporters came out too because he's been skating?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they showed the media tour that he'd been doing in Thailand, which was huge. And technically, a show like that would make it more accessible than somebody trying to go to a big tournament, because that's something you can bring your family to, and it could inspire more kids in Thailand to want to skate.
Yeah.
So
It's a beautiful motivation.
It was. And yeah, Pichit is just, he's a ray of sunshine.
Did any of you guys take the quiz on like which Yuri on Ice character are you?
No, I have to take
Yes,
it.
I did it.
I got Pichit. And I was like, oh, yay.
I got Victor. Which
I got Yuri.
Sorry, what?
It's fine.
You're both married or soon to be.
Yeah.
True.
And what if your
Not to
husband is
each other.
watching this?
Yeah.
Oh my god, amazing. Okay, so Pichit has his skate, which is beautiful, and then it is time for Yuri to skate because he finished in fourth. And he
God.
skates, and you just see like the whole culmination of everything he's gone through on this
It's
show.
happening. Yeah, it's happening.
Seriously.
And so it like starts with you see like the flashbacks to Victor skating in the juniors when he had the really long hair and just Yuri talking about how he spent his whole life trying to catch up to Victor and he was always out of reach, but then he was right there, and oh my god, it's so I was a freaking mess.
I know. And like it even comes into like the lineage of like you saw young Victor to Yuri and now this Yuri and like you just blatantly saw the path.
And Minako and Marine-san commenting like he's so different like after he learned how to do the triple salco from Yurio.
Oh no!
Everything just brought all together.
Yeah, it was just, and I felt like the music was actually swelling a little bit louder this
Yeah,
time
it
because we
was.
had
It
so much,
was.
and I was just, it's just.
But also
yes.
hearing the crowd.
Yeah.
And you wonder how much that affected him in his performance tonight. And I will say of all the stuff of these two ones, this is what I didn't cry, but I got very close.
Yeah.
I got, like this is one I was just like, oh, this is so beautiful.
Well, and it started,
beautiful.
and it started for me too with the. I mean, it's such a beautiful piece of music, but also the interaction that he has with Victor
Yes.
before going into the skate when Victor basically like. Victor like tries to be a coach
Right.
for
For the,
once, where
one
he's
first
like
time.
I took off. I took a break after becoming a 5-time world champion to coach you. So how come you haven't won any gold medals yet? And Yuri's like, Victor, come on, like
not right
stop.
now.
I told you I just wanted you to be you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And to just stay who you are, and so stop trying to sound like a coach now. You haven't done it yet.
But they do have that moment where they kind of reconnect.
They- oh my
again.
God,
We're
it's
back on the
beautiful.
same page.
That was when I
finally.
started crying.
Yeah,
that
that
was
was
just
it.
This is continuous tears.
inconsolable sobs.
Right.
Yeah.
And also you saw for the whole thing, Yuri was skating for someone else. He was skating
Yeah.
for Victor, or he was skating to seduce Victor, or
Right.
whatever. This time, it was just
It was
Yuri,
just
it was
for him.
Yes.
And he's like, this feels good, and I'm gonna challenge myself, and
Yeah, and I was glad that he wanted to make Victor proud.
Yeah.
Because he's like, look, this is the transition. This is how I am now from what you started
Right,
with.
and I mean, basically what he says is, hey, look, world, there is a Victor inside of me, and only I can be this.
yeah.
Mark and I were
I know.
But no, but like,
We're grown adults. Actually,
Yeah.
Mark, stop it.
but yes, I feel like the fact that just seeing, especially at the very end, obviously when he's looking right at Victor at the very end, I was like, ah!
Well, not even
Stop
just
it.
that, but the close-up of the outstretched hand.
Yeah.
So symbolic
nice.
and lovely and beautiful and a great moment.
And he didn't want
Man, I feel great that you're on the couch because you have
I don't
so
like
much.
this.
No, you have so much more room to express yourself.
I do, but everyone is at me. So let me look at me right now. I'm hideous.
There's the cry.
It's okay. Yeah.
There's the cry. The kiss will come later.
Oh yeah.
and he doesn't want to go to the kiss and cry because
He
Yuri,
knows that it'll
he's
be
decided
over.
he's retiring after this, and he doesn't want it to be over. And oh god, and
I love that it made Mickey cry too. Like,
Yeah.
everyone was crying.
No, but like, you know, usually they're like in shock when they see him,
Right.
but literally there was not a dry eye in the house. It was insane.
Did we see Celestino after this, or did we only see him before Pachites?
I can't remember.
I
don't-
think it would have been nice to get him for just like a frame.
Yeah.
Or something.
I also
I
could
don't
not
think
see
we
through my
flashed it in
tears, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't,
Sure,
I
yeah.
don't recall.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then who's in third? Oh, Kristoff
Yeah.
skates after, and yeah, exactly. And that was where we touched on, like, you know, he always was following Victor, and now he's been surpassed by someone who's not Victor. And I mean, Yuri's way
that mad
way
side
in
eye?
first place after his
Yeah,
race skate because
because
he breaks Victor's world record.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
We got a handful of Yuri's breaking Victor's record.
I like that Victor was like, I'm so happy that you're
Yes.
breaking my records. I was
Right.
like,
But also,
as
Yeah.
a competitor, like, that's a problem.
and I love how
Pisses
he
me
got,
off.
like he got like Yuri got excited. He's like, so are you gonna go back to skating? Is that
Yeah.
is that happening? And it was just really nice.
It wasn't. I mean, it might have been in episode 11, but it was the Russian coach who even said, like,
Oh, Yakov,
there's
yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
better than seeing a student do well.
Yeah.
Like it's an aphrodisiac or whatever he said.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if he's an
Aphrodisiac.
aphrodisiac.
No, no, no.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like it was.
And so it was like alluding to maybe that's what Victor's feeling when
Yeah.
he sees, because he did coach both of them.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
both broke his record.
Yeah. And you know, before the sort of culmination of this event, Yuri and Victor have agreed that, like, they're not going to talk about what they're going to do next until after the skating is over. And so Victor actually, like, approaches Yakov in the hallway and is like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna come back next season."
Yakov's face when he was like, "What?"
Yeah, because he was like, not now.
He's like, "Leave me alone. Yurio is about to skate." I'm like, "Calm down."
well, that's also done very much on purpose too, right?
Yeah.
So Yurio hears that.
Yeah.
Because Yurio's reaction,
Right.
like, in of itself.
Yep.
I mean,
I have seen so many amazing things on Tumblr of that confrontation between Yuri and Victor, where Victor's like, "Yurio, you have to do something because, like, Yuri says he might quit skating, and I really need you to, like, stop that. I need you.
This can't happen.
Do something."
Yeah.
Just like remember what you always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
because
personal.
While this is going on, we have Otebek basically monologuing while
Yeah.
he's skating,
Right.
and it just happens to really coincide with what's going on there with Yurio and Victor, and so it's like, hey, and it's been pointed out that maybe Victor didn't exactly know what he wanted from Yurio,
Right.
just that he was kind of feeling this could be the end, like,
Yeah.
and then it, like, the silent plea, and it connects for him.
Yeah.
So
But then
freaking circle.
Yurio also wasn't upset that Victor was coming back. He was upset because he jumped to the conclusion that
Yuri was
going
gonna
to
retire.
well,
And-
that's what upset him.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, and that killed me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
So angry.
I think my favorite. Are we going to talk about any of the other stuff, or are we going right to Yurio? Just because I'm excited.
Whatever you want.
Yeah,
Mention it, and
my
then we'll talk about
favorite
Yurio.
line was in Yurio's program,
Mm-hmm.
which was, "There is no gold for pigs to feed on."
Oh, yeah.
Yo!
Yeah.
There's that monster. Love
Right.
it. Love it.
Yeah.
But in that routine, that's also the first time he does not refer to Yuri as Katsudon or a pig.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
So
really
he
is
used
like, yeah, he calls him Yuri,
Yeah.
like,
Because
in
he
his
was
inner
meeting him
monologue.
at that point.
Yep.
And,
And again, like, because he really was distressed by the news that he might retire. So he's like, no, I got to put a stop to this.
Right.
It's not allowed.
And he falls during his program.
Yeah.
But fortunately, you know, his short program score was high enough.
It's
So
them
it's like
arms.
those put them arms up in there. That it didn't mess him up too much, even though he did fall on a quad.
Yeah.
he did.
But he ended up, and I loved the way they handled the end. I loved the way they handled the results, by the
Yeah.
way, because it was literally just like a flash.
Yeah.
And you see that Yuri won by .12.
Yeah.
Insane.
But that was all that it took.
that. I know.
Because Yurio's like, you're not retiring because you're not getting gold here.
Yeah.
That's all that it took.
It's
You're not
all that
done.
it took. And I loved when Yuri was presenting Victor with the silver medal, and he was holding
Like,
it
look,
in the
it's-
shape of a heart.
Yeah. Also, okay, two things. One, Yurio's costume and that's the free skate, right? The
Yeah.
second
Yeah,
one.
free skate.
He's got the little dangly bits on like the ends of his skates.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's dangerous.
That
like
is
he's
dangerous.
I was
gonna.
gonna ask about that because
Very
I don't know much about ice skating, but as a martial artist and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
things shouldn't be hanging. 'cause that's
No,
where you get
especially
hurt.
close to the blades.
Well, for that, I think it implies a faster movement. Just you get a more of a sense of speed and quickness.
Okay.
And I'm sure it doesn't affect scoring whatsoever, but for that very reason of that's real dangerous, and he's still going for all of that
That's true.
really big stuff.
Yeah.
Because he's showy and we just got
Yeah, he's a risk
Yeah.
taker.
And it could add to the performance score.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But yeah, I liked that he was holding the silver
Yeah.
medal string, like, and it was sort of heart shaped, and then
Dork.
and then
Yeah.
and then like Victor attacking him, being like, I only wanted to kiss gold.
So here's the fun fact in Japanese,
Yes.
and I don't know if this is like alluding to it or if I'm looking too much into it, but
Maybe both.
and this is for adults, so kids, close your ears. But in Japanese, like testicles is kintama, which literally means like gold balls.
Right.
And so him saying that he only kisses gold is like it's like a weird
There's a
subtext
little
there.
innuendo,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
My
but
innocent mind.
But I did
Yeah.
like when he like pursues him basically, and he like sort of bends him over the back
Uh-huh.
of the barrier, and he's like, can you think of anything else that might excite me? And
Flash.
Yuri's face,
look on his face.
Yeah.
He thought of something.
Yeah.
And he's like, what were you thinking of?
nothing. I wasn't thinking of anything.
Never mind, we have to check out at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But what Yuri does end up saying is, I'm not done skating. Please
Yeah.
stay with me for one more
Yeah.
season.
Right.
And then Victor's like, okay, but I'm also gonna like come back to skating too.
Yeah.
Is that allowed?
I don't know if that's even allowed.
I don't know.
I guess we won't know until it comes back.
Being
know.
coaching and being.
And
Yeah.
I think
competing.
there are skaters that do that.
Isn't that
Yeah.
a conflict of interest? Because if you're competing at the same level, I don't know, man.
Oh, in the same
They don't-
competitions.
Yeah.
They don't get. They don't get an additional gold medal for training the person.
no, they don't.
True.
So
So
I guess.
It's just
Yeah.
more work
Again,
for
we
the,
will.
it's a lot of work.
the coach.
will
Yeah.
find
So
out.
Victor's gonna have his work cut out for him
Yes.
in the next season.
Also boning 24/7.
Really distracted.
But what we really need to talk about before we run out of time here is the beautiful ending.
Oh no!
That's why I wore this shirt again because it made me so
That's why I
happy.
wore this shirt, because I got a little bit of the Victor's purple, some blue, and a little bit of silver.
I love it.
So at
you
the
can't
end of
see it.
so at the end
I
of
can
like
see it.
big figure skating events, they do get to do something called an exhibition skate, which is literally just like we're skating for fun.
Yeah.
And it starts off that Yuri is going to skate Victor's free skate from the previous season, which is what got Victor's attention in the first place, because that was what the YouTube video was.
In the second place.
Oh, that's true. That's episode 10.
Sorry, in the
Second
second place.
place.
Sorry, in the second place.
So, and they, I think there's an interview that
did.
came out where they allude that he has been skating that as his exhibition piece
Yeah.
throughout the season.
Right.
That Yuri has?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
However, they added a little element at the Grand Prix final in the form of Victor pair skating.
Pairs. Not doubles, pairs.
Yeah. Pair skating with
Did.
Yuri.
Those
which,
lifts, though.
Which
Yeah.
is literally something that has never ever happened in ice skating ever, is two men pair skating together.
Unless you've seen Blades of Glory.
Oh, that's true.
That doesn't count.
But I still love them.
Oh my god, and it's so
It was gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Even though Mark ruined it for me.
Especially because
Smack.
the whole time through the whole season you've been experimenting with this gender role of male and female,
Yeah.
and that they take this pair skating that they kind of take turns,
switch back and
and
forth.
it's so good. Fuck gender.
Yeah, the fact that the animation was just so smooth. Like, I know we've been getting that the entire season, but I felt like this one was just a little bit more. Like,
Yeah.
a little bit more budget into this animation.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous.
They knew it was something
that-
special, and they treated it like it was.
I just think of that Aziz Ansari meme from Parks and Recreation. This is so. I've looked at this for 5 hours. It's so beautiful. That was how I felt. Like if someone was like, "You have like 90 seconds to live," I'd be like, "Great, show me
Here we go.
how to see that."
Yes, over and over and over.
I have that picture saved to my phone just in response to this duet.
Yeah, no, seriously. I was just like keeling over. It was great.
And then, you know, and that final monologue from Yuri where he's like, you know, there's a place that like you can't reach unless you like feel it. So I can't remember exactly what the words were, but it was so beautiful. And he's like running through the streets of St. Petersburg because he's supposed to have moved to Russia to train with Victor, who's also training to come back next season. And like he's running, and then you hear Makachin bark, and then you just see both of their faces as they see each other, and it's like the most beautiful thing.
Yeah, and the fact that it just goes, it fades to black, and then you hear Yuri, and it's just like,
along with see you next level.
yeah. I was like,
Level.
Yeah.
I just hugged my computer, going, I want more. I
know.
It's too good.
It was a wonderful ending. Like that. It doesn't necessarily confirm that we get a season
It does
2.
not. It does not.
But we did get the director did say, "I'm working on a lot of Yuri this year."
Yeah,
so.
well, Mitsuru Kubo, the storyboard artist and writer, like she did say that, you know, that she's putting all of her energy into that. And the animation studio that did Yuri on Ice was like, we're not going to disappoint fans. So again, season 2 is all but confirmed at this point.
Well, are we getting just season 2, or are we getting OVAs? Like,
I would take OVAs.
because there's a couple of things. Like, I wanted to mention this last time. I want an OVA of the banquet.
Yeah.
That we only got pictures
Sorry.
of. 'Cause that's not. You don't have to rotoscope that. Well, I mean, you could.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
You would have to for Chris. You would have to rotoscope. Chris.
Come on now. I need that
Well, and something else that
saying.
I saw in the chat previously is somebody wants to see Pachita on Ice, which would be the cute ice show version of the season.
Seeing all of our personalities again, trying to do a whole thing together.
Yeah.
Yep. I would also totally watch Yuri on Ice in theaters if I lived in Japan, which is something that's happening. They're having basically these Yuri on Ice all-night marathons along with a talk show. So it's expected that there might be some more news in regards to season 2 when that happens on February 11th. It starts at 10 o'clock p.m. It's an all-night Yuri on Ice marathon. A bunch of the seiyuu are going to be in attendance. So Mitsuru Kubo, of course, the original concept artist and writer of Yuri on Ice, will be there, along with Toshiyuki Toyonaga, who is Yuri, Junichi Suabe, who is Victor, and Koki Uchiyama, who is Yuri Plisetsky. So
No, Fathom Events, get on that.
I know, come on, Fathom Events, we didn't mind that shit. So yeah, that happens on February 11th, so everybody look forward to more news after that. Many new iTunes reviews. Thank you so much. I can't read all of them, but I do want to give a shout out to everybody. We have got from Love It, 5 stars, Fee_413. These are all 5 stars, by the way. This after show is amazing. Joey Segura. Please, ABTV, may I have some more by Gyozano Hime, who I met in real life at a Jane Austen dance class, and you're wonderful. Thank you so much for saying hello to me.
Specific.
Great, many exclamation points. Yuri's Angel, who points out that the hosts on this show are so enthusiastic and knowledgeable and awesome. And AfterBuzz, please have more hosts like us. And then also we have from us, Simply Amazing, Syra-chan, lovely hosts, lovely reactions from Lanave. And again, I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing any of these names. And great for first-time watchers and rewatchers by Ari. ya. So guys, thank you so much for sticking with us throughout this whole after show. It has been such a pleasure getting to.
Again, this wouldn't have happened without the fans.
Yeah.
And you suggested it, and you have made it grow from the very first episode. We have been getting more and more and more people joining us live. So thank you to everybody who's joined us live and everybody who listens to us after the fact. We thank you. We love you.
Yes.
Should we get to the final thoughts? Because we're essentially out of time.
Final thoughts around the table. Rapid fire. Go.
I need more episodes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Done.
So much more. I want to see all the girls skate.
Yeah, I want to see
the girls skate.
I want to see
need
Sarah
that.
skate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shall they skate?
No, damn it.
And there it is. Yep.
I never thought that a show about male figure skating would get me so entranced.
Okay.
And that proves to the strength of the storytelling and the writing and the animation. This is a wonderful show that everybody needs to see, whether you're a fan of Dragon Ball Z or Uran Host Club.
Yeah, that's great.
Watch that. Oh my God, there's a beautiful mashup art of Oran Host Club and Yuri on Ice. It's amazing. It's amazing. Listen, guys, I just love that this series is like. It's a beautiful love story about a wonderful relationship, and it just so happens to be a homosexual relationship, and it's beautiful and magical and pure. But that being said, if you are over 18 and you want some good Yuri on Ice doujinshi, tweet at me. I'll send it. Xander, what are your final thoughts?
Well, just that representation matters.
It does.
This is the purest form of equality that I could have asked for because it was a real relationship and it was so beautiful to see. And it especially coming from the place like Japan, which is
Or it's not
okay
open
yet.
Yeah.
And then it just came out of nowhere and blindsided the whole LGBT community and in the best way possible.
Yes,
and
yes.
I love it.
And the figure skating community loved it too. So I mean, this is God. I haven't seen a show this good in years. The end.
And to be honest, we've been trying to get actors from the English dub.
Yes.
And we are still working on it.
We're still working on it. So we may have some bonus content wherein we review some of the people or interview some of the people who were involved with the production over at Funimation. So, keep your eyes on Twitter. We'll still be using that Yuri ABTV hashtag. If you want to share any thoughts with us, we are here for you.
And because of this had such a big opening. This had such a big reaction from fans. I think we should have at least one anime show running, because Sailor Moon ended a little while ago, and then this sort of took its place. I think we should have a regular anime show, and that's just me speaking out loud.
I had someone today tweet at me asking about Little Witch Academia.
Oh yeah!
It's not legal in America yet.
Not yet. It's coming.
Once it comes to Netflix, that's definitely something that would be a consideration. So, yes, thank you guys so much for watching. We have to wrap up, even though I really, really don't want to. I'm not ready to be done.
I don't want to go.
I feel like Yuri right now.
Alexis, where can people keep up with you on the internet?
You can find me all over the internet crying and also getting some pretty awesome gifts, so please stay tuned for these guys because the reaction for Mark's gift's going to be hysterical. At atorres890.
Stacy!
Find me on Twitter and Instagram at Stacy Shuttles, and please come cry about Yuri with me. I never want to be done talking about this show.
Never.
Come cry to me about Little Witch Academia. Absolutely one of my favorite animation projects within the last 5-10 years. I don't even know when the first one came out. But tweet at me at Mark P. Donica.
It wasn't that long ago. Xander, thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having me. And thank you to everybody on Twitter that was asking to have me back. That's the only reason I wanted to come back, obviously. But you can find me on Twitter at Xanderific. That's with 2 R's and 1 F.
And I am Emma Fife. I can be found all over the internet wherever Emma Fifes are sold at my name, Emma Fife. I'm doing lots of stuff. Just follow me on Twitter, guys. You'll know all about it. Right now, all I can think about is Yuri on Ice and how beautiful it was and how sad I am that this show is over. Again, follow us all on Twitter. Keep up with that hashtag YuriABTV for updates on when we're going to be able to do some interviews with some of the English cast. And until then, we love you. You guys are awesome. And we'll see you later.
Bye, guys.
See you next level.
Bye.